Have you ever witnessed profound personal transformation? These transformations rarely happen by accident. They occur when people stop waiting for life to change and start changing it themselves. Look around you. The people who seem to be thriving, the ones with fulfilling relationships, meaningful work, and a sense of purpose, they aren't just lucky. They've discovered something essential that many people never grasp. True power comes from within. After studying success and transformation for years, I've discovered a pattern, a common thread that runs through every story of profound personal change. Today, I want to share with you the secret that can change your life. It's not complicated, but it is challenging. It's not mysterious, but it is profound. It's about taking control of 4 fundamental areas that determine the quality of your existence. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about controlling others or even controlling all of your circumstances. Life will always throw curveballs. The economy will fluctuate. People will disappoint you. The weather won't check with you before it rains on your parade. But there are 4 domains where you have absolute authority if you choose to claim it. Master these 4 areas, and you'll develop an internal power that no external circumstance can diminish. Number 1. Your words. The seeds of your reality. Every word you speak plants a seed. These seeds grow into the garden of your life. Many people don't understand this. They complain constantly about their jobs, about their relationships, about the opportunities they don't have, and their lives reflect those very complaints. The universe is simply taking orders from you. If you keep ordering limitations, that's what you'll receive. Think about the last conversation you had. Were your words building bridges or burning them? Were you speaking life into dreams or crushing them with doubt? Were you gossiping, criticizing, complaining, or were you encouraging, appreciating, affirming? Your words are like whispers to the universe. When you declare "I can't," the universe responds, "As you wish." When you affirm "I will find a way," doors begin to open. This isn't spiritual mumbo-jumbo. It's the practical reality of how our minds work. The words you speak loop back into your subconscious, reinforcing your beliefs about what's possible. They become the soundtrack playing in the background of your consciousness. Consider how this plays out in your relationships. When you say "you always do this" or "you never listen," you're not just expressing frustration, you're cementing a perception that makes it nearly impossible to see anything different. You've literally programmed yourself to notice only evidence that confirms your statement. But when you shift to saying, "I've noticed this pattern," or "I feel unheard when this happens," you create space for growth and change. Your words move from accusation to invitation. This extends to how you talk about your challenges. Compare these 2 statements. "This is such a nightmare. Nothing ever works out for me. This is challenging, but I'm finding my way through it." The first statement closes doors. The second opens them. The first surrenders power. The second claims it. Challenge yourself. For just 1 week, become intensely aware of your language. Keep a small notebook with you. Make a tally mark every time you catch yourself using disempowering language. Eliminate phrases like "I can't," "that's impossible," or "I'm not good enough." Replace them with "I'm figuring this out," "I'm looking for solutions," and "I'm growing into this challenge." Pay special attention to the hidden power drains in your speech. Phrases like "I'll try," which presupposes potential failure; "I hope," which suggests doubt; or "I should," which implies obligation rather than choice. Replace them with "I will," "I expect," and "I choose to." Watch what happens. You'll feel a shift, subtle at first, then unmistakable. Your confidence will grow, your relationships will deepen, opportunities will appear where before there seemed to be none. Your words don't just reveal your thoughts, they shape them. They don't just describe your life, they direct it. Master your words and you begin to master your life. Number 2, your mind, the command center of your destiny. Your mind is like the most sophisticated computer ever created. But here's the question, are you programming it, or is it running on default settings installed by others? Many people let their minds run wild. One anxious thought spirals into catastrophic scenarios. One setback convinces them they're destined to fail. They lie awake at night, their minds racing with worries about things that might never happen. They live reactively not proactively. The truth is, your mind will either work for you or against you. There is no neutral ground. Let me explain the mechanics of how this works. Your brain processes approximately 60,000 thoughts per day. Research from the National Science Foundation suggests that about 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% are repetitive thoughts from the previous day. Think about that. Without intervention, your mind naturally gravitates toward the negative and keeps recycling the same limiting patterns. But here's the good news: neuroplasticity. Your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections means you can literally rewire your thought patterns. Every time you catch a negative thought and deliberately replace it with a constructive one, you're not just changing that moment, you're physically reshaping your brain. When you learn to direct your thoughts to catch the negative ones before they take root, to focus on solutions instead of problems, to see opportunities where others see obstacles, you unlock a power most people never experience. This isn't about positive thinking that ignores reality. It's about strategic thinking that transforms reality. Start with awareness. Notice the narrative playing in your head right now. Is it empowering you or limiting you? Is it focused on what you can control or what you can't? Is it dwelling on the past, worrying about the future, or engaged with the present? Try this exercise. For one day, carry a small notebook. Make a mark every time you use a negative thought. Don't judge it, just observe it. At the end of the day, count the marks. Most people are shocked by how many they have. This simple awareness is the first step to change. Then practice intentional thought redirection. When fear says you'll fail, respond with "I'll learn." When doubt whispers you're not ready, answer with "I'll grow through this." When comparison tells you everyone else has it figured out, reply with "I'm on my own unique path." Feed your mind daily with wisdom that expands your vision. What are you consuming mentally? Just as food builds your physical body, information builds your mental landscape. Are you filling your mind with gossip, complaints, and sensationalized news, or with insights, solutions, and possibilities? Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to voices that have overcome what you're facing. Set aside 20 minutes each morning for this mental nutrition before exposing yourself to the demands and distractions of the day. Create a success environment for your thoughts. Surround yourself with people who believe in possibilities rather than limitations. And don't underestimate the power of visualization. Athletes do this instinctively. They see the perfect shot, the flawless routine, the victorious finish before it happens physically. Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps famously visualized every detail of his races, right down to water temperature and potential equipment failures, mentally rehearsing how he would handle each scenario. Your mind doesn't always distinguish between vivid imagination and actual experience. Use this to your advantage. Every morning, when you wake up, take 5 minutes to visualize yourself succeeding, overcoming challenges with grace, and living with purpose. See the details, the environment, the people involved, the words exchanged, the emotions felt. This isn't daydreaming, it's mental rehearsal for excellence. A study at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation found that people who visualized exercising a specific muscle group increased their actual physical strength by 13.5% without doing any physical exercise. That's how powerful your mind is. It can literally strengthen your body just through focused thought. Develop mindfulness practices that help you observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. Meditation, even just 5 minutes daily, creates space between you and your thoughts. It helps you recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, the one who can choose which thoughts to nurture and which to release. When you take command of your mind, you take command of your destiny. As Marcus Aurelius wrote nearly 2,000 years ago, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Number 3. Your mood, the energy that attracts your future. Have you ever been around someone who lights up a room just by entering it, or conversely, someone who drains all the energy from a space? That's the power of mood, and it's yours to control. Your emotional state isn't just how you feel, it's the energy you broadcast to the world. and like a magnet, it attracts matching experiences. Many people believe their feelings are dictated by their circumstances. Bad things happen, so they feel bad. Good things happen, so they feel good. They are emotional reactors, not creators. But here's a transformative concept: emotional responsibility. The idea is simple yet profound. While you can't control what happens to you, you have absolute dominion over how you respond emotionally. Try experimenting with this idea. In the middle of chaos, intentionally shift your mood. Before meetings, take 2 minutes to breathe deeply and conjure feelings of confidence and enthusiasm, regardless of how you actually feel. When dealing with challenging people, silently wish them well before engaging, triggering a more compassionate response in yourself. The results can be dramatic. Conversations become more productive. New opportunities emerge. Solutions to problems you've been wrestling with for weeks suddenly become clear. Same circumstances, different energy. Here's something revolutionary. Emotions are not just reactions, they're choices. This doesn't mean denying authentic feelings. When something painful happens, feel that pain, acknowledge it, but don't build a home there. Visitors are welcome, permanent residents are not. The secret is emotional agility, the ability to experience your feelings without being controlled by them. Start with this understanding. Feelings are real but not always reliable narrators of your reality. Just because you feel inadequate doesn't mean you are. Just because you feel hopeless doesn't mean there is no hope. Just because you feel like a failure doesn't mean you failed. It might just mean you're learning. Consider how this plays out physically. Research at the University of Wisconsin-Madison found that how people perceive stress impacts whether that stress is damaging. Those who viewed their stress response, racing heart, faster breathing, as their body preparing them for challenge, showed different physiological responses than those who viewed the same symptoms as harmful. The meaning they assigned to the feeling literally changed its effect on their bodies. You can apply this same principle to your emotional states. When anxiety rises before a presentation, instead of thinking I'm nervous because this might go badly, try I'm excited because this matters to me. Same physical sensation, different interpretation, vastly different outcome. Practice emotional self-awareness. Several times throughout your day, check in with yourself. What am I feeling right now? Is this emotion serving me or limiting me? What would be a more empowering way to feel? Cultivate gratitude intentionally. Each morning, identify 3 specific things you're grateful for. Not just my family, but the way my daughter laughed during our game last night, or how my partner supported me during that difficult conversation. A study at the University of California found that people who practiced gratitude consistently reported 25% higher happiness levels, better physical health, and stronger relationships. The act of looking for things to appreciate literally trains your brain to find more things to appreciate. Movement changes emotion instantly. When you feel stuck emotionally, change your physical state. Stand up, stretch, go for a brisk walk. Your body and emotions are intimately connected. The research on this is compelling. Just 10 minutes of physical activity can boost your mood for up to 2 hours by releasing endorphins and shifting your brain chemistry. It doesn't need to be intense exercise. Even gentle movement breaks the pattern of negative emotions. Use the power of music to shift your mood. Create playlists for different emotional states you want to cultivate. Confidence, calm, creativity, energy. Music bypasses your conscious mind and speaks directly to your emotional brain. Employ the as-if principle. When you act as if you feel a certain way, you often begin to genuinely feel that way. Before an important meeting where you need to be confident but are feeling anything but, stand in a power pose for 2 minutes, feet planted, shoulders back, hands on hips. Research by social psychologist Amy Cuddy shows that just 2 minutes in this posture increases testosterone, confidence hormone, and decreases cortisol, stress hormone. Remember this: your mood isn't just affecting you, it's affecting everyone around you. It's either elevating or diminishing each interaction. Think of yourself as an emotional broadcaster. What frequency are you transmitting? Is it one that attracts what you want into your life? Choose to be a source of positive energy, not because it's polite, but because it's powerful. Not because it benefits others, though it does, but because it transforms your own experience. When you control your mood, you control the lens through which you see the world, and when that lens changes, everything changes. Number 4. Your money, the resource that fuels your freedom. Money is neither good nor evil. It's a neutral tool that amplifies who you already are. Yet so many people have a complicated, often painful relationship with money. They either worship it or fear it. They chase it desperately or avoid thinking about it entirely. Many people avoid looking at their bank accounts. They cringe when the ATM prints their balance. They throw away bills unopened because they're afraid to face them. They spend emotionally, save sporadically, and wonder why financial stress is their constant companion. Here's what can change everything: realizing that money responds to management, not magic. So many people are waiting for some financial miracle, a big inheritance, winning the lottery, a sudden promotion, or a brilliant business idea that will solve all their problems overnight. But lasting financial transformation rarely happens that way. Consider the sobering statistics about lottery winners. According to the National Endowment for Financial Education, about 70% of people who suddenly receive large sums of money, whether through lotteries, settlements, or inheritances, lose it all within a few years. Why? Because they gained money without gaining money management skills. Financial freedom isn't about having unlimited resources. It's about mastering the resources you have. It's about making intentional choices rather than impulsive decisions. It's about understanding that every financial choice either moves you toward freedom or toward bondage. Start with brutal honesty. Where exactly is your money going? Track every dollar for 30 days. No judgments, just awareness. Most people are shocked to discover where their money actually goes versus where they think it goes. Create a purposeful plan. Every dollar in your life should have a job before it arrives. Saving, investing, giving, enjoying. Without this direction, money slips through your fingers like water. A simple system called the 4 walls and beyond can help. First wall, necessities, housing, food, utilities, transportation. Second wall, debt elimination. Third wall, emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses. Fourth wall, future planning, retirement, education, etc. Beyond, lifestyle enhancement and generosity. Each dollar flows through this system with clear priorities. This isn't about restriction, it's about intention. You're not saying no to spending, you're saying yes to purpose. Distinguish between wants and need. Our culture bombards us with messages designed to confuse these two. That latest gadget, that designer item, that upgraded experience. Ask yourself, will this purchase bring me closer to my goals or further away? This doesn't mean living a joyless existence of deprivation. It means making conscious trade-offs. It means understanding that every yes to an impulse purchase is potentially a no to something more meaningful, long-term. Consider implementing a 24-hour rule for any purchase over $100 and a 1-week rule for any purchase over $500. This simple cooling-off period allows you to distinguish between genuine needs and emotion-driven wants. Build your financial fortress brick by brick. Start with an emergency fund. Even $1,000 can prevent a setback from becoming a crisis. Then systematically eliminate debt. Then build savings. Then invest for growth. Too many people try to do everything at once, become overwhelmed, and abandon their financial plans altogether. Focus your financial energy like a laser on one goal at a time. The momentum you build will carry you through to the next goal. Learn the language of money. Financial literacy isn't optional, it's essential. You don't need to become an expert, but you need to understand basic concepts. Compound interest, tax efficiency, inflation, asset allocation. Many people avoid learning about money because they find it intimidating or boring. But this knowledge gap costs them thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands over a lifetime. Consider your income as seriously as your expenses. Most financial advice focuses heavily on spending less, but increasing your earning potential is equally important. Invest in developing marketable skills. Look for entrepreneurial opportunities. Create additional income stream. Remember this: wealth isn't measured by what you spend, it's measured by what you keep and grow. The goal isn't to become obsessed with money. The goal is to be so intentional with it that you create space for what truly matters: relationships, experiences, contribution, purpose. When you control your money rather than letting it control you, you're not just building a bank account, you're building a legacy. These 4 areas, your words, your mind, your mood, and your money, aren't separate compartments. They're interconnected dimensions of your life that either work together harmoniously or create chaos through conflict. When you speak words of possibility while your mind dwells on limitations, you create internal friction. When you try to manage your money wisely but let your mood drive impulsive spending, you sabotage your own efforts. True mastery comes from alignment, when what you say, think, feel, and do all point in the same direction. Start where you are. You don't need to overhaul your entire life tonight. Choose one area that needs the most attention right now. Make one small change, then another, then another. Transformation isn't an event. It's a process of consistent, intentional choices that compound over time. Your life isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. To your words, your thoughts, your emotions, and your decisions about resources. Take back the controls. Start today. Start now, because the truth is, no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to make these changes for you. No one can want your success more than you do. But here's the beautiful part. You already have everything you need to begin this journey. The power has always been within you, waiting to be claimed. So I ask you, if not now, when? If not you, who? Your future self is watching, hoping you'll make the choice to take control. What will you decide? The power is in your hands. The time is now. Your extraordinary life awaits.
What if I told you that every word you've ever spoken has been quietly programming your reality? What if the reason your life looks the way it does right now isn't because of what happened to you, but because of what you've been declaring about yourself in the silence? You were never meant to beg the universe for scraps. You were never meant to whisper affirmations like prayers to a distant god. You were born with the same creative force that carved galaxies into existence. The same voice that once declared, "Let there be light," now speaks through you. But here's what they don't want you to know. You've been using this power backwards. You've been declaring your limitations instead of your liberation. You've been commanding your fears instead of your freedom. And the universe, being the perfect mirror it is, has been faithfully delivering exactly what you've been ordering. Every time you say "I am," you are not describing your life. You are directing it. This is not positive thinking. This is positional identity. This is about stepping back into the authorship you abandoned the day you started believing other people's stories about who you were supposed to be. Before the world was shaped by hands, it was shaped by voice. Before creation took form, a declaration was made, "Let there be." And there was. In the beginning was the Word, not a sound, but a force. Not a phrase, but a frequency, a vibration so pure that it carved galaxies into the void. And that same creative force now lives within you. Every time you say "I am," you are instructing your cells, your brain, your spirit, and the quantum field around you to shape themselves into the image of your words. This is the power that moved mountains in Scripture, the principle behind miracles, the voice that made worlds and still does. I need you to understand something that will shatter everything you think you know about creating change in your life. There is a moment before creation, a pause before the visible. And in that pause, a voice rises, not from your throat, but from your identity. From a knowing so deep it needs no proof, no permission, no validation from the outside world. It simply declares, "This is who I am." And reality has no choice but to respond. You think you were born into stillness. You were born into sound, heartbeat, cry, breath, word. Creation doesn't begin with effort. It begins with frequency, with the courage to speak your truth before the world agrees with it. Every reality begins with a word. In Genesis, the Creator doesn't build with hands. He says, "Let there be," and light obeys. Physics now tells us the same truth. All matter arises from energy, and energy responds to observation and vibration. So when you say, "I am ready, I am whole," it is done. You're not hoping. You're instructing. You're not becoming. You're revealing. Here's the science they don't teach you in school. Your brain is not a passive organ waiting for life to happen to it. It is an architect, constantly building your reality according to the blueprints you give it through your words. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. Your brain wires itself according to repeated thoughts, declarations, and beliefs. Every time you say "I am," you lay down a new layer of identity in your nervous system. Say "I am overwhelmed," and the stress circuits deepen. Say "I am learning," and curiosity pathways awaken. Say "I am capable," and your prefrontal cortex begins mapping new behavior. The body doesn't wait for proof. It responds to instruction. In 2014, stroke patients who repeated empowering identity statements like "I am healing," "I am getting stronger," showed faster neurological recovery than those who simply focused on physical tasks. Their inner language restructured their outer healing. Not because the words had magic, because identity shapes biology. But here's where most people get it wrong. You've been declaring all your life. Every day you're already saying, "I'm tired, I never figure things out. This always happens to me." And your subconscious takes it literally. It doesn't question. It doesn't analyze. It simply says, "Got it. You are that. I'll make sure reality reflects it." So the loop begins. A phrase becomes a feeling. A feeling becomes a filter. A filter becomes a world. You think you're describing life, but you're actually designing it. They told you to work harder, hustle, grind, prove yourself worthy. But what they never told you is that reality doesn't respond to effort. It responds to identity in motion. You are not here to earn your future. You are here to declare it. And there is an ancient law backing that declaration, one that operates whether you know it or not. Neville Goddard called it the law of assumption. Modern science calls it neuroplasticity. The mystics called it divine law. But you already know it intuitively. You feel it in your bones when you speak from truth. You feel it when you say "I can," and something stirs. You feel it when you say "I am," and the universe leans in to respond. What does this mean in the language of modern mind and matter? It means that what you believe to be true about yourself begins to train your nervous system, your perception, and your body to mirror that identity. Your reticular activating system, the brain's filter for attention, looks for proof of your inner assumptions. Say "I am unlucky," and the RAS finds every reason to agree. Say "I am favored," and the field begins to echo that frequency. You're not observing reality. You're filtering it according to your declarations. A young girl in a disadvantaged school system struggled for years until one teacher told her, "You're a genius. You just haven't been taught like one." That simple declaration, spoken daily, "I am a genius. I just learned differently," rewired her identity. Her test scores improved. But more than that, her self-perception shifted. Today she's an educator herself, helping other kids do the same. What changed? Her belief, her biology, her future, all from a new "I am." Here's the uncomfortable truth. You've been performing, not aligning. You repeat, "I am confident," while your voice shakes with doubt. You say "I am abundant," while your body tenses with fear. The subconscious doesn't listen to your words, it listens to your vibration, to coherence, not cleverness. That's why declarations without feeling are flat. But declarations fused with elevated emotion trigger neurochemical cascades that literally alter your biology. Dr. Joe Dispenza puts it this way: when thought and feeling become one, you move from hope into reality creation. When you declare "I am abundant," and actually feel abundant, you release dopamine, the motivational neurotransmitter. When you say I am at peace from genuine stillness, you stimulate oxytocin, calming your nervous system. You're not just affirming, you're literally changing the chemical signature of your state. This is why your life changes not when you do more, but when you speak from who you've become. The universe doesn't need convincing. You don't have to argue with the field. You only have to declare clearly from the inside out. I am already what I seek. I am walking as the version who has it. It is done, not because I forced it, but because I aligned with it. Your voice is not small. It is not mere sound. It is structure. What you speak into the unseen becomes architecture, a scaffold of possibility that the physical world begins to build around. Words are not just air. They are instruction. Each time you speak with conviction, you emit a frequency, and frequency, as both mystics and physicists know, shapes matter. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, is more than scripture. It's science written in sacred language, because in the beginning of any reality, a business, a relationship, a healing, there is always a word, not just spoken aloud, but whispered internally with enough belief to command the field. The quantum field doesn't hear English. It hears coherence. It doesn't wait for results. It responds to vibration. In 1967, Swiss scientist Hans Jenny conducted experiments that stunned the scientific world. Using sound vibrations directed at sand, he watched invisible tones create intricate geometric patterns. The higher the coherence of the tone, the more beautiful and complex the pattern. You are no different. Your internal tone, the energy behind your words, determines what kind of pattern your life forms. Anger scrambles the geometry. Worry distorts it. But declaration spoken from stillness, from power, creates sacred symmetry in your field. Dr. Candace Pert, neuroscientist and pharmacologist, discovered what she called the molecules of emotion. She found that peptides, chemical messengers, triggered by thought and speech, bind to receptors on every cell in your body. In simple terms, what you say, your body hears. Every I am becomes a signal that instructs your biology. Say I am overwhelmed, and cortisol floods your system. Say I am grounded, and parasympathetic signals begin to calm your heart rate. This is not symbolic. This is biochemical manifestation. You are not just thinking. You are programming. You are not just talking. You are transmitting. In quantum physics, particles exist in a cloud of probabilities until observed. This is called the wave function. It means that at every moment, infinite versions of your life exist, each one waiting to be selected. So what selects it? Conscious observation fused with intention. When you say, I am this, you collapse potential into particular. You shift from all that could be into, this is what I've chosen. Your words are the selector switch in a field of infinite outcomes. Consider Anita Morjani, diagnosed with end-stage lymphoma, tumors throughout her body, organs shutting down. Doctors declared the end, but she declared something else, not with logic, but with identity. I am not here to die. I am here to live. She entered a near-death experience where she felt herself as wholeness, not illness. Upon returning, her body began healing rapidly. Within weeks of this declaration, backed by complete inner alignment, her scans shocked her doctors. No trace of cancer remained. Skeptics call it impossible, but her declaration, backed by full coherence of mind, emotion, and soul, became her reality. What you declare, you animate. Declare I am love, and your nervous system begins to soften. Your energy field becomes magnetic. Declare I am abundance, and your perception starts scanning for opportunity. Synchronicity sharpens. Declare I am peace, and the chaos around you starts to lose its grip. You are not waiting for reality to show up so you can name it. You are naming it so it shows up. This is how you shape matter. This is how you bend time, not with effort, but with energetic authorship. Here's where most people fail. They speak powerfully, then walk timidly. They declare abundance and act from fear. They affirm love but move from wounds. The field grows confused. The signal splits. Nothing changes. Declaration is the first step. Embodiment is the second. It is not enough to declare. You must become what you've spoken. Words are seeds, powerful. Yes, but a seed does nothing unless it is watered, nurtured, lived. To become the word you speak is to make your identity louder than your past, louder than your habits, louder than your habits, louder than your history. In psychology, there's a simple truth. You will always act in alignment with who you believe you are. This is called self-concept congruence. It means your behavior, whether successful or self-sabotaging, mirrors your internal identity more than your external intention. You can want change. You can declare change. But until you become the person who lives in that new world, the old self pulls you back. This is not resistance. It's programming, and it can be rewritten. Research on addiction recovery found a striking difference. When offered a cigarette, those who said, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit," had high relapse rates. But those who said, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker," who shifted identity, not just behavior, rarely relapsed. They weren't performing willpower. They were embodying a new version of themselves, because the subconscious doesn't sustain what isn't aligned. Here's where most manifestation practices stop. I am successful. I am loved. I am confident. Beautiful words. But what do your feet say? What does your posture declare? How do your choices speak? Embodiment is not performance. It's not pretending to be something you're not. It's allowing yourself to live as the version you've already declared. Each morning, ask yourself, if I truly believed my declaration, how would I move today? How would I walk if I believed I was magnetic? How would I respond to conflict if I knew I was already safe? What would I say yes or no to if I knew I was already supported? This isn't acting. This is returning to a truer self hidden beneath conditioning. Every action that matches your new identity strengthens neural pathways. This is Hebbian learning. Neurons that fire together wire together. Declare, I am confident, and speak up in the meeting. Your brain logs that as proof. Do it again and the network deepens. Do it daily and it becomes your default. Soon the old identity begins to dissolve, not through force but through starvation. You've stopped feeding it. Your brain is equipped with mirror neurons, cells that fire both when you act and when you imagine yourself acting. This means when you visualize yourself walking as the new version, your brain responds as if it's already happening. So when you say, I am abundant, and close your eyes to feel the reality of that abundance, you are not fantasizing. You are training your neurology. The body begins to behave like abundance is real, and then reality follows suit. In a longitudinal study on goal setting, participants were asked to write down their ideal future selves. One group wrote once. The other group lived as that version daily, walking, dressing, making choices like their future self already existed. 12 months later, the second group had significantly higher measurable success in income, health, and happiness. Why? Because they weren't trying to get there. They were being there. Your body doesn't care if it's memory or imagination. It becomes whatever you rehearse with feeling. There is a space between the word and the world. It's where most people lose the miracle. You said it, you meant it, you felt it. I am healed, I am abundant, I am ready, and then nothing, no signs, no evidence, just silence. This is the space where dreams die, not because the law failed, but because the voice wavered. But the gap is not punishment. This is not delay, but integration, because every declaration is a seed, and every seed, no matter how divine, needs time to take root. In every mystical tradition, Hermeticism, Kabbalah, Buddhism, there is reverence for the void, that sacred in between, the formless, the field before the form. Creation is not instant. It is gestational. The same applies to your spoken reality. When you say I am, you activate the field. But when you wait in stillness, you allow that field to organize itself around your identity. In neuroscience, change isn't visible the moment it begins. Neural rewiring often happens below conscious awareness. In one UCLA study on habit change, participants showed increased neural activity weeks before they felt their behavior shift. They hadn't noticed anything working. but deep beneath the surface, their brain had already begun its transformation. This is the unseen miracle. Silence does not mean absence. Stillness does not mean stuck. It means integration is underway. The moment doubt creeps in, panic sets in. They redeclare from fear. They push. They try to fix what's already in motion. But this tells the subconscious, I don't believe what I just said. We are not safe to receive. The identity resets. The timeline shifts. The process pauses. Not because it failed, but because you interrupted the signal. Trust is not just spiritual. It's neurological regulation. When you trust your declaration, your nervous system relaxes. Cortisol drops. The parasympathetic system activates, signaling safety. In this state, you become more receptive, more intuitive, more available. The more you hold the vibration of certainty, the more coherent your electromagnetic field becomes, and the more precisely the universe mirrors it. You may believe your declarations are only sound, but beneath every affirmation, your body is listening, not metaphorically, biologically. The nervous system records your tone. Your hormones adjust to your language. Your immune system follows your beliefs. Because every I am is not just a thought. It is a chemical command. Your words don't live in the air. They live in your blood, in your muscle memory, in your breath. This is why identity is more than mental repetition. It is a full body signal, a living vibration. When you say, I am afraid, your brain doesn't evaluate whether it's true. It floods your body with cortisol, the stress hormone. Heart rate increases. Breathing becomes shallow. Muscles tighten in anticipation of danger, even if no danger exists. Now say, I am safe, and your body begins to reverse the process. Oxytocin releases. The parasympathetic nervous system activates, initiating rest and restoration. The immune system strengthens. The mind clears. The difference wasn't a change in environment. It was a change in self-declaration. Dr. Candace Pert, pioneer of psychoneuroimmunology, discovered that emotions are not in your head. They are in your entire body. Your cells have receptors that absorb emotional peptides, chemical messengers released with every thought and spoken word. That means your body is responding to your I am statements. Before you're even fully conscious of what you said, you declare I am anxious. Your body obeys, tightening, restricting, reacting. You declare I am grounded. Your body opens. Even if your mind doesn't fully believe it yet, the chemistry begins shifting, and over time, that shift becomes your baseline. Your nervous system doesn't just listen to your words. It watches your posture. It feels your breath. It scans your tone. Say, I am confident with slumped shoulders, downcast eyes, and tight breath. Your body senses the contradiction and rejects the command. But say it while standing tall, breathing deeply, making eye contact. Your physiology receives it as truth. You are always broadcasting a frequency. Your body's role is not to argue with you. Its role is to amplify what you declare. So the question becomes, what are you asking it to repeat? There is a moment when you no longer speak to convince. You no longer declare to get. You no longer affirm to attract. You speak because it is who you are. You live because it is already done. This is the frequency of and so it is. Not a wish, not a performance, but sacred surrender to the truth you've chosen and the self you've become. Most people speak from desire. I want more money. I want love. I want freedom. But their energy says, I'm not there yet. I hope this works. I need this to complete me. This creates a vibrational gap, a mismatch between the frequency of desire and the identity of fulfillment. Wanting says maybe one day, being says I already am. The universe doesn't respond to wanting. It responds to vibrational certainty. Olympic athletes don't win gold because they train harder. They win because they train as the version of themselves who's already won. They don't say I hope to win. They say I am a champion. And I'm here to meet the moment. This is pre-living the result, not pretending, but rehearsing truth until it becomes embodied knowing. You must do the same. Declare it, feel it, walk in it before the world catches up. And when it does, it won't feel like a surprise. It will feel like recognition. Alreadiness is a vibration. It's not arrogance. It's not delusion. It's resonance. When you carry yourself like someone who is already free, doors open, not because you force them, but because you aligned with the version of you that was always holding the key. You don't attract what you chase. You attract what you normalize. So make your future identity feel normal now. Speak as them, decide as them, move as them, and you'll collapse the timeline between vision and reality. Lao Tzu said, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." This is the vibration of "and so it is." It does not push. It does not plead. It simply unfolds. The seed does not strain to become the tree. It trusts the process written in its DNA. You are the same. The declaration is your seed. The embodiment is your watering. The stillness is your sunlight. And then, inevitably, the result emerges. You don't need to beg. You don't need to prove. You don't need to obsess over how or when. Your only job is to live the frequency you once longed for, as if it's already yours, because it is. The universe does not answer your wishes. It answers your identity. You began this journey with words, but it ends not with more doing, but with being. You've remembered that your voice is more than sound. It's structure. Your thoughts are more than private noise. They are invitations. Your I am is not a hope. It's a blueprint, a signal to the quantum field, a command to your biology, and a return to your divine authorship. Now you know, you were never trying to become. You were only trying to remember. Remember the one who was always whole, who never needed fixing, only alignment, who didn't have to chase, only declare, and whose word, when spoken in truth, is already done. Let there be was never followed by doubt. It was followed by light. So speak and rest, affirm and walk, declare and become, not because you're trying to convince the world, but because you finally convinced yourself. This is your life now, a quiet knowing, a powerful stillness, a voice that no longer begs, but creates. Welcome, beautiful soul. If you found your way here, there's something deep within you that knows you deserve more than you've been giving yourself. Maybe you've been your own harshest critic. Maybe you've been waiting for permission to love yourself fully. That permission starts right here, right now. For the next few minutes, I want you to do something revolutionary. I want you to listen to these words, not as suggestions, but as truths about who you already are. These aren't just affirmations, they're declarations of your inherent worth, your undeniable value, and your unlimited potential. You don't need to earn your worth. You don't need to prove it. You were born worthy, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can take that away from you. As you listen, let these words wash over you. Feel them in your body, breathe them into your heart. Some may feel foreign at first, and that's okay. We're rewiring years of conditioning. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle. You're doing sacred work. Find a comfortable position. Take a deep breath, and let's begin to remember who you truly are. I am inherently valuable just as I am. My worth is not determined by my achievements or failures. I deserve love, respect, and kindness, especially from myself. I am enough, exactly as I am in this moment. My value doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to see it. I honor my feelings and trust my inner wisdom. I am worthy of taking up space in this world. My voice matters and deserves to be heard. I choose to speak to myself with compassion and understanding. I am deserving of healthy, loving relationships. My mistakes do not define my worth. I trust myself to make decisions that serve my highest good. I am allowed to set boundaries that protect my peace. My needs and desires are valid and important. I celebrate my unique gifts and talents. I am worthy of pursuing my dreams without apology. I choose to surround myself with people who lift me up. My past does not determine my future potential. I am resilient and capable of overcoming challenges. I deserve to prioritize my mental and emotional well-being. I am beautiful inside and out in my own unique way. My opinions and perspectives have value, positivity, and hope. I am deserving of comfort and security. My creativity and imagination are valuable gifts. I am allowed to set high standards for how I'm treated. I trust in my ability to create the life I desire. I am worthy of experiencing life's beautiful moments. My sensitivity is a strength, not a weakness. I choose to honor my body with love and care. I am deserving of understanding and empathy. My efforts and hard work are appreciated and valued. I am allowed to put myself first when necessary. I trust that I am loved more than I know. I am worthy of having all my needs met. My presence brings light and value to others. I choose to believe in my unlimited potential. I am deserving of recognition for my efforts. My boundaries are healthy and necessary. I am allowed to feel confident in my abilities. I trust that good things are coming into my life. I am worthy of expressing my true self authentically. My past struggles have made me stronger and wiser. I choose to focus on my strengths and positive qualities. I am deserving of patience as I continue to grow. My inner child deserves love, protection, and play. I am allowed to change direction when something no longer serves me. I trust that I am worthy of my biggest dreams. I am deserving of quality friendships and connections. My healing journey is sacred and important. I choose to speak my truth with courage and grace. I am worthy of being cherished and adored. My talents and skills are gifts meant to be shared. I am allowed to take risks and try new things. I trust that I am guided and supported by the universe. I am deserving of moments of pure joy and laughter. My vulnerability is a sign of strength and courage. I choose to celebrate the miracle of my existence. I am worthy of having dreams that inspire and excite me. My love for myself grows stronger each day. I am allowed to be a work in progress. I trust that I am exactly who I'm meant to be. I am deserving of all the love my heart can hold. My worth is infinite and unchangeable. I choose to see myself through eyes of love and acceptance. I am allowed to shine brightly and inspire others. I trust that my life has meaning and purpose. I am worthy of love, joy, peace, and all of life's blessings, simply because I exist. Now, take a deep breath and feel these truths settling into your heart. You've just spent time reconnecting with your inherent worth, something that was never lost, only temporarily forgotten. These declarations aren't just words. They're reminders of who you've always been beneath the doubt, beneath the fear, beneath the stories you've told yourself about not being enough. Carry these truths with you. Return to them whenever you need reminding. Share them with others who need to remember their worth too. You are valuable. You are enough. You are worthy of every good thing life has to offer. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.
You are not separate from your desires. They are already yours. The only separation is in your thinking, your doubting, your waiting. The moment you act as if the miracle is already yours, you collapse the distance between the wish and the world. Do not wait for a sign. Become the sign. Walk like someone whose prayers are already answered. Speak with the calm confidence of one who has received. Think like someone who has no reason to worry. You are not hoping for miracles. You are made of the same substance that creates them. If you want love, become the one who is already cherished. If you want abundance, embody the energy of ease, generosity, and security. If you want healing, live in the state of the healed, not the hurting. The secret is simple. You do not attract miracles, you match them. You do not chase them, you become them. You do not ask repeatedly. You receive internally and let the world adjust. The greatest power you will ever wield is this: your ability to assume a reality so completely that life has no choice but to conform to your inner conviction. So today, walk as the miracle, dress as the miracle, speak as the miracle, think as the miracle, because once you decide you are a magnet to miracles, they cannot help but find you. Imagination is not a mere daydream or fleeting thought. It is the very fabric of creation, the silent sculptor of reality. When you close your eyes and dare to see yourself beyond what is now, you are not escaping, you are planting the seeds of transformation. Everything you experienced externally was once first imagined internally, whether consciously or unconsciously, and this is the truth most people miss. Your imagination is the magnetism of the soul. It draws into your life not what you want desperately, but what you consistently imagine to be true. The world around you responds not to the physical effort alone, but to the image you habitually carry within. A man can toil day and night, but if in the quiet of his own mind he still sees himself as a failure, as unworthy or unlucky, then his results will mirror that in a picture. The law is precise. What you assume to be true, you live out. Life does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to the state you occupy within yourself. Imagination is the bridge between where you are and where you long to be. It is your permission slip to enter a new reality before the facts rearrange. You see, the soul does not live in linear time. It dwells in eternity. So when you imagine something with feeling, with vivid detail, and remain faithful to that image, the soul sends out its quiet vibration into the unseen. The outer world is clay, but the imagination is the potter. It molds circumstances, shifts events, and reconfigures situations according to the belief you hold inside. That belief is not what you say once in a while. It is what you see again and again when no one is watching. The image you hold when your head touches the pillow, the tone of voice in your self-talk, the quiet assumptions that run your inner dialogue. Those are the commands you give to life. And here's the miracle. You can change the image at any moment. You can withdraw from the habitual picture of struggle or lack and choose to dwell in the reality of peace, abundance, or love. But you must do it with conviction. Half-hearted imagining produces scattered results. But when you dwell so deeply in a new image that it begins to feel like home, then it becomes your truth and the world begins to conform. You don't need to figure out how it will happen. That's not your role. Your work is the inner vision, the consistency of returning to the new image even when out of fact scream otherwise. Because the world is slow to catch up to the imaginal act. But it must catch up. It cannot resist the one who is magnetized by their own belief. So if you want to shift your life, do not start with action, start with vision. Rehearse your miracle until it becomes familiar. Speak from the place where it has already occurred. Walk in the world as one who has already received. Let the image be so alive within you that you no longer look for proof, because you are the proof. But to imagine something is not enough. You must feel it real. You must let your entire being respond as though what you desire has already come to pass. That is the secret most overlook. You are not waiting for a miracle to feel grateful, joyful, or free. You are required to feel those things first. That is how the miracle knows where to go. Feeling is the bridge between thought and reality. It is not just decoration to your imagination, it is the power that activates it. When you imagine yourself healed but continue to feel broken, you cancel the power of the vision. But when you feel within you the emotional certainty of wholeness, even before any evidence appears, you call that state into your world. Feeling is what convinces the subconscious that the desire is real, and once the subconscious accepts it, the world begins to rearrange. You must understand emotion is not weakness, it is the most powerful instrument of manifestation. Thought without feeling is hollow, but thought clothed in emotion becomes magnetic. It draws experiences, people, and opportunities into your path in ways the logical mind cannot predict. The universe does not hear your words, it feels your state. When you live from the feeling of already having, you are no longer asking, you are receiving. This is why you must not wait for outer facts to give you permission to feel joy. You must feel it now before any change, before any proof. And when you do, something begins to shift. You move from hoping to knowing, from wishing to expecting, from someday to now. The outer world may still look the same, but inside you have stepped into a new state. And because the inner and outer must eventually align, the world will follow. Feeling it real is not pretending, it is not faking anything. It is entering into the state where your desired reality is already true and allowing your body, your breath, and your energy to respond to it. This is how you collapse time. This is how you live in the future before it arrives. And by doing so, you draw it closer. You become the one who already has, the one who already is. Let yourself feel it, not just once, but over and over until it becomes natural. Close your eyes and breathe as the version of you who already holds the miracle. How does it feel to be free, to be in love, to be abundant, to be chosen, supported, healed, and seen? Let that feeling flood your being. Let it be so real that you no longer wonder if it's coming. You know it has already arrived in the unseen. Let that feeling become your new home. And once you move into that emotional space, the world cannot help but bring you evidence of it. Most people spend their lives trying to attract what they want, chasing dreams, praying for miracles, working tirelessly, hoping that something from the outside will arrive and change their circumstances. But this is a misunderstanding of how creation works. You do not attract what you want, you become it. You become the version of yourself who already has it. And from that state of being, the world begins to mirror your inner transformation. You do not pull miracles to you as if they are separate, they are not distant, they are not outside. The moment you stop trying to reach for them and instead embody the state in which they are natural, They appear as if they had been waiting for your recognition all along. You see, miracles are not events. They are reflections. Reflections of the inner state you occupy consistently. If you believe you are blessed, supported, worthy, and whole, you will walk in a world that confirms that belief. It is not about wanting. Wanting is a state of lack. To want something implies you do not yet have it, but to become means you accept the reality now, before it manifests in the physical, and that is the key. When you become the version of yourself who lives among miracles, who expects the extraordinary, who walks with calm certainty, life responds. You don't need to strive, you don't need to beg, you only need to shift who you are being. This requires inner honesty. What do you really believe about yourself, about what is possible? If deep within you believe life is hard, or you are unlucky, or you are not enough, then you will see that played out again and again. Not because it's true, but because you have become that story. The world is not judging you, it is simply echoing you. You cannot trick life with positive words if they are not backed by your inner identity. You must become the one who is already blessed. When you shift your identity, everything else follows. Think of it like changing clothes. You don't become wealthy by chasing money. You become wealthy by embodying the mindset, the energy, the behaviors of one who lives in abundance. You don't become loved by searching for someone to fill the void. You become loved by loving yourself so deeply that you radiate the energy of being cherished. You do not become healed by fighting illness. You become healed by stepping into the wholeness that already exists within you. Becoming is not pretending, it is aligning, it is stepping into the truth that already lives within you, beyond fear and past memories. Every day you are becoming something, with every thought, with every feeling, with every word. The question is, are you becoming the version of yourself who lives in miracles, or the one who doubts them? You must live from the end, not towards it. If you were already the person who had everything you desire, how would you speak? How would you carry yourself? What choices would you make? Begin there, because the more you embody that version, the less you have to wait. Most people are trained to expect struggle, to believe that good things take forever, that blessings are rare, that miracles are only for the chosen few. They may hope for more, but their core assumption is lack, delay, or difficulty. And so that is what they experience. But the moment you assume that goodness is your natural state, that life wants to bless you, that joy belongs to you, everything begins to rearrange. This is not about false confidence or forced positivity. It is about a quiet knowing, a state where you no longer question if you are worthy, you simply know you are, where you no longer wonder if things will work out. You assume they already are. You don't beg for the miracle. You dwell in the energy of miracles, and from that state life softens. Resistance fades, doors open, not because you chase them, but because you align with them. To assume the miracle is your natural state is to no longer be surprised by goodness. It is to expect alignment. It is to know that solutions come, help arrives, answers unfold, not because you force them, but because you are one with them. You have become someone for whom good things happen. This is a radical departure from the world's conditioning. You are taught to prepare for the worst, to lower expectations, to not get your hopes up. But all that does is cement a reality where miracles feel foreign. When you assume life is hard, life proves you right. When you assume blessings are rare, you hardly notice them. But shift the assumption and everything changes. Begin each day with the quiet belief that things are working in your favor, that unseen forces are conspiring to bless you, that even delays have divine timing, that what is for you cannot miss you, not because you wish it, but because it is your normal. Let peace replace panic. Let calm expectation replace anxious striving. Assume the miracle is here, not on the way. Assume you are favored, not forgotten. Assume you are guided, not alone. The world outside may still echo your old assumptions for a while, but hold the new one with faith, and the new belief will override the old pattern. You will see it in small things first, a coincidence, a compliment, a sense of ease. Then larger shifts, unexpected opportunities, surprising favor, and suddenly what you assumed becomes what you experience. You don't need proof to assume, you need courage. The courage to believe in something before it appears, to walk in faith, to carry the energy of already being blessed. Because when you carry that energy, the world mirrors it. Life becomes a reflection of the inner conviction that good things are not an exception, they are your essence. Stop asking if the miracle will happen, assume it has. Let your tone, your posture, your thoughts reflect that truth. Move from it, rest in it. Because assumption, when felt deeply, becomes your identity, and your identity shapes your world. The moment you assume it's normal for good things to happen to you, they begin to, because life always follows the lead of your belief.
What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, you are creating your entire future with nothing more than your imagination? What if everything you've ever wanted is not just possible, but inevitable? If you understand this one fundamental truth that most people never discover, stay with me, because what I'm about to share will completely revolutionize how you see yourself and your power to create. Welcome to this profound exploration of your divine creative power. I am deeply honored that you have chosen to be here with me today, for we are about to embark on a journey that will fundamentally alter your understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. You know, there was a time in my own life when I believed that my circumstances were fixed, that my past dictated my future, and that I was somehow at the mercy of forces beyond my control. But what I discovered, and what I'm about to share with you, changed everything. It will change everything for you too, if you truly understand it. Let me ask you something deeply personal. Are you enjoying the expansion of your desires? Are you delighting in the very act of wanting what you want? This is not a trivial question. It's actually the key to understanding your entire creative process. You see, when you truly enjoy your desires, when they feel natural and inevitable to you, it means something profound is happening within your consciousness. It means your imagination, your true creative faculty, is aligned with your wish. But when you want something that feels impossible, when you desire something but cannot imagine it belonging to you, those desires become painful, don't they? Here's what most people never realize. That pain, that feeling of impossibility, is not because your desire is wrong or unrealistic. It's because you're experiencing what I call contradictory imagining. You're imagining yourself as someone who wants something, while simultaneously imagining yourself as someone who cannot have it. This internal contradiction is the source of all human suffering, and it's completely unnecessary. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because this will transform your life. You are not the physical being you appear to be. You are pure imagination, having a human experience. Your imagination is not some faculty of your mind, it is God Himself, individualized as you. When the Bible says God created man in His own image, it's not talking about your physical appearance. It's talking about your power to imagine, to create through consciousness alone. Think about this for a moment. Every single thing that exists in your physical world was first imagined by someone. The chair you're sitting on, the device you're using to watch this, the building you're in, all of it began as an imaginal act. But here's what's even more profound. Your entire life, every circumstance, every relationship, every condition, all of it is the outpicturing of your habitual imaginal acts. Most people live their entire lives never realizing this. They think they're victims of circumstance, prisoners of their past, or subject to the whims of an external world. But the truth is, you are the operant power in your world. You are the cause of everything that happens to you, not through your actions, but through your assumptions. I remember when this truth first dawned on me. I was struggling with a particular situation that seemed completely beyond my control. I felt powerless, frustrated, and trapped. But then I began to understand what assumption really means. An assumption is not just a thought or a belief. It's a state of consciousness that you occupy. When you assume something to be true, you're not just thinking it, you're being it. Now let me share with you the most practical application of this truth. Every night, as you fall asleep, you have the opportunity to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is the conscious use of your imagination to create your reality. Picture this. You lie down in your bed, and instead of reviewing the day's problems, or worrying about tomorrow's challenges, you enter into an imaginal scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. You don't imagine the process of getting what you want. You imagine having it. You don't imagine yourself hoping or trying or working toward your goal. You imagine yourself already being the person who has achieved it. The secret is not in the vividness of the scene, though that helps. The secret is in the feeling. Can you feel the reality of your imagined state? Can you feel what it would be like to be the person who has what you want? This feeling is the key that unlocks the door to manifestation. But here's where most people stumble. They've been practicing limitation for so long that it has become their dominant assumption. They think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and imagine the same limitations day after day, year after year. Then they wonder why their lives don't change. Your beliefs are nothing more than thoughts you've thought so often that they feel true. But here's the liberating truth. What you call reality is simply your most persistent assumption. If you don't like your reality, assume something different. I once knew a man who had been unemployed for months. He was constantly imagining himself as unemployed, constantly feeling the frustration and fear of not having work. He would wake up every morning and immediately imagine the day ahead as another day of rejection and disappointment. He was unknowingly using his imagination to perpetuate his unwanted condition. When I explained this to him, he understood. That very night, he began to imagine himself as employed, not looking for work, not hoping for work, but actually employed. He would fall asleep imagining himself at his desk, feeling the satisfaction of meaningful work, sensing the security of a steady income. Within 2 weeks he received a job offer that was better than anything he had previously imagined possible. This brings us to a profound realization. There is no objective reality out there that you need to conform to. There is only consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. What you call the physical world is consciousness crystallized, imagination made manifest. This means that every single person in your world is you pushed out. Every relationship, every interaction, every experience is a reflection of your own state of consciousness. When you change your assumptions about yourself, you automatically change your assumptions about others, and they must conform to your new conception of them. Now I want you to understand something crucial about the nature of assumption. When you assume something to be true, you're not trying to convince yourself that it's true. You're not arguing with contrary evidence or forcing yourself to believe something that seems impossible. You're simply dwelling in the state of consciousness that corresponds to your wish fulfilled. Think of it this way. If you wanted to go to New York, you wouldn't stand in Los Angeles trying to convince yourself that you're in New York. You would simply travel to New York. Similarly, if you want to experience a different reality, you don't try to convince yourself from your current state. You simply move to the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire. The beauty of this understanding is that it makes you completely free. You're not dependent on external circumstances to change before you can be happy. You're not waiting for other people to behave differently before you can feel fulfilled. You're not postponing your joy until some future condition is met. You can enter into the feeling of your wish fulfilled right now, this very moment. Here's what I promise you. If you will consistently assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, if you will persist in this assumption regardless of what your senses tell you, if you will remain faithful to your new concept of yourself, your world must conform to your assumption. This is not a possibility, it's a law. It's as certain as the law of gravity. The question is not whether this will work. The question is, are you willing to be disciplined enough to assume what you want to be true, even when your current circumstances suggest otherwise? Most people want to see the change before they believe it. They want proof before they have faith. But I'm telling you, you must believe it before you see it. You must assume it before it manifests. This is the order of creation. Imagination first, manifestation second. This requires a complete reversal of how most people think. Instead of reacting to your circumstances, you must learn to create your circumstances through your imaginal acts. Instead of being a victim of your past, you must become the author of your future. Instead of being at the mercy of the world, You must realize that the world is at the mercy of your imagination. I invite you to test this principle in your own life. Choose something you desire, not something small and insignificant, but something that would genuinely transform your experience. Tonight, as you fall asleep, imagine yourself in possession of this desire. Feel the reality of it. Assume it to be true. And then, no matter what happens in the days that follow, persist in this assumption. But I must warn you, this is not a game. This is not positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is the conscious use of the divine power within you. When you truly understand and apply this principle, you will never again be able to see yourself as powerless or at the mercy of external circumstances. You will realize that you are the God of your own world, the creator of your own experience, the author of your own story. This knowledge brings with it tremendous responsibility, because you can no longer blame anyone or anything else for your experience. But it also brings with it tremendous power, because you can create any experience you choose. So here's my final question for you. Who do you want to be? Not what do you want to have, not what do you want to do, but who do you want to be? Because whoever you consistently assume yourself to be, you will become. Whatever you persistently imagine yourself to be, you will manifest. The choice is yours. You can continue to live by default, assuming whatever circumstances and past experiences have conditioned you to assume. Or you can live by design, consciously choosing what to assume about yourself and your world. Remember, your imagination is not limited by your past, your circumstances, or what others think is possible for you. Your imagination is limited only by what you are willing to assume to be true. I leave you with this truth. You are far more powerful than you have ever imagined. You are the operant power in your world. You are pure consciousness, having a human experience, and right now, in this very moment, you have the power to assume yourself to be anything you choose to be. The question is not whether you can create the life you desire. The question is, will you use your imagination, assume your desire fulfilled, persist in your assumption, and watch as your world transforms to match your innermost convictions about yourself. You are the creator of your reality. It's time to start creating consciously. If this resonates with you, if you're ready to take responsibility for your creative power, then I invite you to share your own experiences in the comments below. What will you assume about yourself starting tonight? What reality will you create through the power of your imagination? Remember, you don't need to see it to believe it. You need to believe it to see it. The time is now. The power is yours. Use it wisely. My dear friends, tonight, I want you to consider something that will shake the very foundation of everything you believe about your world. What if I told you that the chair you're sitting in, the room around you, even the thoughts racing through your mind right now, what if none of it is as solid, as fixed, as permanent as you've been led to believe? You see, there's a secret hiding in plain sight, a secret so profound, so revolutionary, that when you truly grasp it, you'll never see your life the same way again. The secret is this. Reality is an echo of what you ask, an echo of consciousness itself, an echo of the invisible creative power that dwells within you right now, at this very moment, whether you're aware of it or not. But before we dive into this mystery, let me ask you something that might disturb you. Have you ever wondered why your life keeps repeating the same patterns? Why, no matter how hard you try to change your circumstances, you find yourself in familiar situations, dealing with familiar problems, surrounded by familiar limitations. You change jobs, but somehow the same workplace drama follows you. You move to a new city, but the same type of people appear in your life. You promise yourself you'll be different this time, but there you are again, making the same choices, getting the same results. Why does this happen? Is it fate? Is it bad luck? Are you cursed? No, my friend. It's because you haven't understood the fundamental truth about creation itself. You haven't grasped that you are not a victim of your world. You are the author of it. Now I know what you're thinking. Neville, that's impossible. I didn't choose to be born where I was born. I didn't choose my family, my circumstances, the challenges I face. And you're right. Your conscious mind didn't choose these things. But there's another mind at work here, a deeper mind, and it's been busy creating your world from the inside out, whether you know it or not. Let me take you back to a fundamental principle that most people never truly comprehend. As within, so without. This isn't just pretty poetry or wishful thinking. This is the mechanics of creation itself. You see, consciousness is not produced by your brain. Consciousness is what's producing everything you call reality, including your brain. Modern quantum physics is beginning to catch up with what the ancient mystics always knew. The observer affects the observed. The act of conscious observation literally determines what manifests in the physical world. Scientists have discovered something extraordinary in their laboratories. When they observe a subatomic particle, it behaves like a particle, solid, predictable, measurable. But when no one is looking, that same particle exists as a wave of infinite possibilities, spread across space and time, neither here nor there, but everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. The moment conscious observation enters the picture, the wave collapses into a single reality. One possibility becomes actual, while infinite others fade into the quantum foam. Now here's where it gets fascinating. You are doing this same thing with your entire life. Every moment of every day. Your consciousness is collapsing waves of infinite possibility into the specific reality you experience. But here's the crucial part that most people miss. It's not your conscious thinking mind that's doing this. It's your subconscious mind, your deeper consciousness that's operating like a cosmic particle accelerator, taking your deepest beliefs, assumptions, and feelings about yourself and your world, and crystallizing them into physical experience. This is why I say, reality is an echo. When you shout into a canyon, what comes back to you? Your own voice, transformed by the landscape, but unmistakably yours. When you project consciousness into the quantum field of infinite possibilities, what comes back to you? Your own inner state, transformed into circumstances, relationships, opportunities, and challenges, but unmistakably reflecting what you've been broadcasting from within. Have you ever noticed that when you're in a truly good mood, I mean genuinely joyful, not just putting on a happy face, suddenly everyone seems friendlier. Opportunities appear from nowhere. Even traffic lights seem to turn green just for you. You might dismiss this as coincidence, but what if it's not? What if you're literally tuning the frequency of your reality? Your subconscious mind is like a quantum radio transmitter, broadcasting on the frequency of your dominant inner state. And the universe, that infinite field of possibilities, is like a cosmic radio receiver, picking up your signal and broadcasting back to you a reality that matches your frequency. This happens whether you believe it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you like it or not. Right now, as you're listening to these words, your subconscious mind is busy creating tomorrow's experiences based on today's inner state. It's taking inventory of your beliefs about yourself, your assumptions about what's possible for you, your feelings about your worth, your expectations about how others will treat you, and it's weaving all of this into the fabric of tomorrow's reality. This means something profound. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the unconscious creator of them. Every person in your life is there because some aspect of your consciousness has called them forth. Every situation you find yourself in exists because you have on some level impressed it upon your subconscious mind as inevitable. Now, before you reject this idea as too extreme, too impossible to accept, let me ask you this. Would you rather be a victim or a creator? Would you rather be at the mercy of forces beyond your control, or would you rather discover that you have been the force all along? I understand the resistance you might be feeling right now. Part of you is saying, but Neville, I would never consciously create suffering for myself. I would never choose poverty, illness, loneliness, or failure. You're absolutely right. Your conscious mind would never choose these things. But your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you expect. It doesn't differentiate between what you hope for and what you fear. It simply creates experiences that match the dominant impressions you've given it. Think of your subconscious mind as the most faithful servant you could ever have. It never questions your instructions. It never argues with your assumptions. If you consistently think, "I never have enough money," your subconscious mind says, "Yes, master," and creates experiences of not having enough money. If you repeatedly feel, "Nobody understands me," your subconscious mind says, "As you wish," and manifests relationships where you feel misunderstood. It's not punishing you. It's not being cruel. It's being perfectly obedient to your inner conversations, your emotional patterns, your deepest assumptions about yourself and your world. Modern physics tells us that at the quantum level, everything exists in a state of superposition, all possibilities existing simultaneously until consciousness observes and selects one. Your subconscious mind is constantly performing this selection process, choosing which possibilities become your reality based on the templates you've given it through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. When quantum physicists speak of collapsing the wave function, they're describing the moment when infinite possibilities become singular reality. You are collapsing wave functions with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every unconscious assumption about what your life must be like. Let me share something with you that might seem impossible, but I assure you, it happened exactly as I'm about to tell you. Years ago, I found myself in desperate circumstances, financially ruined, reputation destroyed, seemingly no way forward. I had been teaching these principles for years, but now I was being tested by life itself. One evening, in my small apartment, broke and feeling defeated, I made a decision that changed everything. Instead of continuing to look at my circumstances and feel defeated by them, I decided to look from my circumstances to something different. I decided to live as if my desired reality was already true. I closed my eyes and began to imagine myself, not as I was broke and defeated, but as I would be when my fortunes changed. I felt the satisfaction, the relief, the joy of success. I had conversations in my imagination with friends who were congratulating me. I felt the texture of finer clothes, the comfort of a better home, the security of abundant resources. But here's the crucial part. I didn't do this as wishful thinking or fantasy. I did it as an act of creation. I impressed these images and feelings so deeply into my subconscious mind that they became more real to me than my current circumstances. Within weeks, opportunities began appearing that seemed to come from nowhere. People I hadn't heard from in years contacted me with propositions. Doors that had been closed suddenly opened. Money began flowing from unexpected sources. Was this magic? Was this coincidence? Or was this the natural result of consciousness creating reality from the inside out? Modern neuroscience has discovered something fascinating about the brain. It cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you imagine something with emotional intensity and sensory detail, your brain creates the same neural pathways as if the experience actually happened. But it goes deeper than that. When you repeatedly imagine and feel a desired state, you're literally rewiring your subconscious mind. You're installing new templates, new assumptions, new expectations, and your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant it is, begins to manifest experiences that match these new templates. Quantum physics has revealed something even more extraordinary. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where particles separated by vast distances instantly affect each other. When the state of one particle changes, its entangled partner changes instantaneously, regardless of the space between them. Your consciousness is entangled with the quantum field of infinite possibilities. When you change your inner state, you instantly send ripples through this field, affecting probabilities, influencing outcomes, drawing certain experiences toward you while repelling others. This isn't abstract philosophy. This has practical implications for every area of your life. Your relationships exist in the state they do because of the assumptions you hold about yourself in relation to others. Your financial situation reflects your deep beliefs about your worth and what you deserve. Your health mirrors your fundamental feelings about life, vitality, and your right to thrive. Change the inner assumptions, and the outer world must change to match. This isn't a maybe. This isn't a hope. This is law, as reliable as gravity, as predictable as mathematics. Now I can hear the skeptic in you saying, if this is true, why isn't everyone wealthy, healthy, and happy? Why don't we all just imagine our problems away? The answer is simple but profound. Most people are unconscious creators. They're creating by default, not by design. They're impressing their subconscious mind with worry, doubt, fear, and limitation, then wondering why their lives reflect these inner states. Every time you say, I can't afford that, you're giving your subconscious mind an instruction about your financial limitations. Every time you think, this always happens to me, you're programming your subconscious to repeat unwanted patterns. Every time you feel, I'm not good enough, you're creating experiences that confirm this belief. Most people are hypnotized by their circumstances. They look at their current reality and use it as evidence for what's possible for them. They say, I believe it when I see it, not realizing that they must believe it before they can see it. Now, here's where everything changes. Instead of looking at your circumstances and letting them determine your inner state, you must learn to look from your desired state and let it determine your circumstances. This is the great reversal. This is the secret that separates conscious creators from unconscious victims. When you look at your bank account and feel poor, you're creating more poverty. When you look at your relationships and feel unloved, you're creating more experiences of being unloved. When you look at your body and feel sick, you're impressing sickness deeper into your cellular consciousness. But when you learn to feel wealthy regardless of your bank account, to feel loved regardless of your relationships, to feel healthy regardless of your current symptoms, this is when you begin to collapse different wave functions. This is when you begin to select different possibilities from the quantum field. Your external circumstances become temporary, passing phenomena that no longer have the power to dictate your inner state. You become the cause, not the effect. You become the artist, not the canvas. Science has discovered that your brain is neuroplastic. It can rewire itself throughout your entire life. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every experience you have creates neural pathways. Repeat the same thoughts and feelings often enough, and these pathways become superhighways, automatic, unconscious patterns that shape your behavior and your reality. But here's the extraordinary part. You can consciously create new neural pathways by vividly imagining and emotionally experiencing desired states. When you repeatedly imagine yourself as successful, healthy, loved, and abundant, not as fantasy, but as present reality, you create new neural networks that support these states. Quantum field theory suggests that underlying all physical reality is a field of pure potential, infinite possibilities existing in a state of superposition. Every possible version of your life exists in this field right now. The version where you're wealthy, the version where you're healthy, the version where you're loved, the version where you're living your deepest dreams. The question is, which version will your consciousness select? Which possibilities will you collapse into physical reality? Right now, at this very moment, you stand at a crossroads. You can continue living as you have been, unconsciously creating your reality through default patterns of thought and feeling. Or you can step into your role as conscious creator. You can continue being impressed by your circumstances, or you can begin impressing your circumstances with new possibilities. Now here's how you begin. Tonight, before you go to sleep, instead of reviewing the day's problems and tomorrow's worries, do something different. Close your eyes and construct a scene that would naturally occur if your desired reality were already true. If you want to be wealthy, imagine having a conversation with your banker about your substantial account balance. If you want to be healthy, imagine your doctor congratulating you on your perfect health. If you want to be loved, imagine someone you care about expressing their deep appreciation for you. But here's the crucial part. Don't imagine this as something that might happen in the future. Imagine it as something that is happening right now. Feel the emotions you would feel if this were your current reality. Make it so vivid, so real, so emotionally satisfying that your subconscious mind accepts it as truth. Repeat this process every night. Fall asleep in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Let your subconscious mind work with these new impressions, while your conscious mind rests. Remember, quantum physics tells us that the observer affects the observed. By observing yourself as successful, healthy, loved, and abundant, not in hope or desire, but in present reality, you are affecting the quantum field of possibilities. You are biasing probability in your favor. This is why reality is an echo. What you send out from consciousness returns to you as experience. The lag time between the inner cause and the outer effect might fool you into thinking they're unrelated, but the connection is absolute. Every person you meet, every opportunity that appears, every challenge you face, every blessing you receive, all of it is an echo of your consciousness. All of it is reflecting back to you what you've been broadcasting from within. The quantum field doesn't judge your requests. It doesn't decide whether you deserve what you're asking for. It simply responds to the frequency of your consciousness. It gives you experiences that match your dominant inner state. If you consistently feel unworthy, the field responds with experiences that confirm your unworthiness. If you consistently feel abundant, the field responds with experiences of abundance. It's not personal, it's mechanical, it's law. And this revelation brings both tremendous responsibility and incredible freedom. Responsibility because you can no longer blame external circumstances for your life experience. Freedom because you now know you have the power to change any aspect of your reality by changing your inner state. You are not a victim of genetics, circumstances, other people's choices, or random chance. You are the conscious creator of your experience, whether you've been aware of it or not. The moment you truly understand this, your life begins to transform. Not because external conditions change first, but because you stop waiting for external conditions to change before you allow yourself to feel the way you want to feel. You stop postponing your happiness until you get the job, the relationship, the house, the money. You start generating the feelings you want to experience right now, and you discover that the external conditions begin to align with your inner state. Your world becomes a mirror, constantly reflecting back to you the contents of your consciousness. When you change what's reflected in the mirror, you must first change what's standing in front of it. You cannot change your reflection by manipulating the mirror. You can only change your reflection by changing yourself. And here are the practical steps to begin your conscious creation journey. First, become aware of your current inner conversations. Notice what you consistently think and say about yourself, your life, and your possibilities. These unconscious scripts are the templates your subconscious mind is using to create your experiences. Second, identify the feelings you consistently experience. Do you predominantly feel worried, frustrated, disappointed, or limited? Or do you feel confident, grateful, excited, and expectant? Your emotional state is the frequency you're broadcasting to the quantum field. Third, decide what you want to experience instead. Not what you hope might happen someday, but what you choose to accept as true for yourself right now. Fourth, begin living from that desired state internally. Think from it, feel from it, speak from it, act from it. Make it so real in your inner world that your external world has no choice but to conform to it. This isn't a one-time exercise. This is a complete reorientation of how you relate to reality. It requires persistence, dedication, and faith in the unseen. Most people try this for a few days or weeks, and when they don't see immediate external changes, they return to their old patterns of thought and feeling. They give up just before the breakthrough would have occurred. Remember, there's often a delay between the inner cause and the outer effect. Just as there's a delay between shouting into a canyon and hearing the echo return, there's often a delay between impressing your subconscious mind with new patterns and seeing them manifest in your physical experience. This delay isn't arbitrary. It's part of the natural process of consciousness creating reality. Use this time to strengthen your faith, to deepen your conviction, to make your desired state more vivid and emotionally real. Now, as we come to the end of our time together tonight, I want to leave you with one final, life-changing revelation. You are not separate from the creative power of the universe. You are not a small, insignificant being hoping for crumbs from a distant god. You are consciousness itself, temporarily focused through this particular point of awareness you call yourself. The same creative power that spins galaxies into existence, that orchestrates the dance of atoms and molecules, that grows flowers from seeds, and heals cuts without your conscious interference. This same power is operating through your consciousness right now. Tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, remember, you are not going to sleep as a victim of circumstances. You are going to sleep as a conscious creator with the power to impress new realities upon your subconscious mind. Tonight, instead of falling asleep in worry about tomorrow's challenges, fall asleep in the feeling of tomorrow's victories. Instead of drifting off in the consciousness of limitation, drift off in the consciousness of unlimited possibilities. Reality is an echo, and you are about to change the sound you're making. You are about to broadcast a new frequency, and when that echo returns to you, as it must, as it always does, you will recognize it as the sound of your own conscious creation. The quantum field is listening. Your subconscious mind is ready to receive new instructions. The infinite possibilities are waiting for your selection. What echo will you create tonight? What reality will you call forth from the field of infinite potential? The choice, as always, has been yours all along.
There's a moment in every person's life when they realize that everything they've been told about money is wrong. For some, it happens when they're drowning in debt, despite working 60-hour weeks. For others, it's watching someone with half their education build an empire while they struggle to pay rent. That moment of awakening is where real wealth begins. See, we've been conditioned to believe that money is the result of circumstances beyond our control, that it flows to the lucky, the connected, the privileged. We're taught that wealth is finite, that for someone to win, someone else must lose. But if you study the patterns of wealth creation across cultures, across generations, across every economic system that's ever existed, you'll discover something remarkable. Wealth isn't about the money at all. It's about the mind that creates it. Think about this for a moment. Two people can receive the exact same inheritance. 5 years later, one has multiplied it into millions while the other has lost it all. What's the difference? It's not luck. It's not external circumstances. It's the internal programming that determines how they think, how they decide, and ultimately, how they act when opportunity presents itself. This programming starts early. We're raised in a world that teaches us to fear financial risk, to value security over opportunity, to trade our time for someone else's dream in exchange for the promise of stability. We're taught that money is scarce, that rich people are somehow different from us, that wealth is reserved for those who were born into it or got lucky breaks that we'll never see. But the wealthy understand something the rest of us miss. Every dollar that exists today was once just an idea in someone's mind. Every business, every innovation, every breakthrough that created fortunes started as a thought. The person who learned to control their thoughts learned to control their financial destiny. Here's where it gets interesting. The most successful people I've studied don't just think differently about money, they think differently about everything. They see problems where others see impossibilities. They see solutions where others see obstacles. When the economy crashes, they see buying opportunities. When industries collapse, they see the space for something new to emerge. When others panic, they plan. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful fantasy. This is about rewiring your brain to process reality through the lens of possibility rather than limitation. It's about developing what I call opportunity vision, the ability to spot value where others see nothing at all. It's about training your mind to ask, how can I, instead of why can't I? Take Sarah Blakely, who turned a simple frustration with pantyhose into a billion-dollar empire called Spanx. She had no business experience, no fashion background, no connections in the industry. What she had was a problem she wanted to solve, and the audacity to believe she could solve it. She spent her evenings for 2 years researching patents, calling manufacturers, and learning an industry from scratch. Today, she's one of the youngest self-made female billionaires in the world. Or consider Howard Schultz, who grew up in housing projects in Brooklyn and is now worth over $4 billion. He didn't inherit Starbucks. He was just an employee who had a vision for what the company could become. When the founders wouldn't listen to his ideas, he left, started his own company, and eventually bought Starbucks. His wealth didn't come from his circumstances. It came from his ability to see potential where others saw only what already existed. Warren Buffett once said that someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. The wealthy plant trees. Everyone else looks for existing shade. The difference isn't in their circumstances, it's in their time horizon and their willingness to invest in futures they can't yet see. But planting trees requires more than just hope. It requires knowledge. And here's where most people fail themselves. They'll spend hours researching which phone to buy, but won't invest a single minute learning how money actually works. They'll watch Netflix for 3 hours a night, but claim they don't have time to read a book on investing. They'll scroll through social media for hours, but won't take a course on building a business. The wealthy are obsessed with learning because they understand that skills compound faster than money ever could. When you master valuable skills, you don't just earn more. You become more valuable to the marketplace. You become someone who solves problems that matter, who creates value that others are willing to pay for. And that's the secret hiding in plain sight. Money is simply gratitude expressed in numerical form. It's the marketplace saying thank you for the value you've delivered. The more valuable you become, the more gratitude flows your way. But becoming valuable requires effort that most people simply aren't willing to invest. They want the harvest without planting. They want the strength without the training. They want the knowledge without the studying. They want the business without the building. They want the results without the process. And then they wonder why wealth remains elusive while they work harder than ever, just to stay in the same place. The truth is, most people are working hard in the wrong direction. They're climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls. They're optimizing for efficiency in systems that aren't designed to create wealth. They're playing by rules that were written to keep them exactly where they are. The wealthy work differently because they understand leverage. While others trade hours for dollars, they build systems that generate value around the clock. They create assets that appreciate while they sleep. They develop skills so rare and valuable that the marketplace has no choice but to reward them extraordinarily. Consider Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon in a garage with the simple idea that people might want to buy books online. He didn't just create a bookstore, he created a system that could scale to sell anything to anyone, anywhere. Today, Amazon processes millions of transactions every day, generating wealth while Bezos focuses on long-term strategy rather than day-to-day operations. This is why entrepreneurship isn't just about starting businesses, it's about developing an ownership mindset in everything you do. It's about asking, how can I improve this, instead of how can I get through this? It's about building rather than just participating. It's about creating value rather than just consuming it. But ownership goes deeper than just starting a company. It's about taking ownership of your thoughts, your habits, your decisions, and your results. Most people live as victims of their circumstances, always explaining why things happen to them rather than taking responsibility for making things happen. The wealthy understand that while they can't control everything that happens to them, they can control how they respond to everything that happens to them. They focus their energy on what they can influence rather than what they can't. They build their identity around their ability to adapt and overcome, rather than their ability to predict and avoid. This is where the concept of delayed gratification becomes crucial. The wealthy are willing to sacrifice immediate pleasures for long-term gains. They'll skip the expensive dinner to invest in education. They'll work weekends on their side business instead of watching television. They'll read instead of scroll. They'll build instead of buy. But perhaps the most critical difference between the wealthy and everyone else is their relationship with failure. Most people avoid failure at all costs, which means they avoid growth at all costs. They play it safe, stick to what they know, and wonder why their lives never change. The wealthy understand that failure is simply data into information about what doesn't work that brings them closer to what does. James Dyson created over 5,000 prototypes before perfecting his revolutionary vacuum cleaner design. Each failure taught him something that brought him closer to the solution. Today, his company generates billions in revenue, and he's worth over $5 billion. His failures weren't setbacks. They were stepping stones. This is why the path to wealth isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about making better mistakes. It's about failing in ways that teach you something valuable rather than failing in ways that just waste time. It's about building resilience rather than building defenses. The wealthy also understand the power of compound interest, not just in investments but in everything they do. Small improvements repeated consistently over time create extraordinary results. Reading just 10 pages a day equals over 36 books a year. Investing just $50 a week can become hundreds of thousands over decades. Learning one new skill per year creates exponential career advantages. But compounding requires patience, and patience requires perspective. The wealthy think in decades while others think in days. They make decisions based on where they want to be in 10 years, not where they want to be next weekend. This long-term thinking allows them to make choices that seem crazy in the short term, but brilliant in the long term. Consider Warren Buffett again. He's been investing for over 7 decades, and most of his wealth was created after age 65. He understood early that time was his greatest advantage, and he structured his entire approach around maximizing that advantage. While others were trying to get rich quick, he was getting rich slowly and surely. The beautiful truth is that none of this is exclusive to a chosen few. These are learnable skills, developable mindsets, and accessible strategies. The barrier isn't talent or connections or capital. The barrier is the willingness to think differently, to act consistently, and to persist longer than comfort would suggest. But thinking differently requires courage, because it means going against the crowd. It means being misunderstood by friends and family who don't share your vision. It means making choices that seem irrational to people who don't understand your long-term strategy. It means being comfortable with being uncomfortable. The wealthy have learned to embrace uncertainty rather than avoid it. They understand that the biggest opportunities exist in the spaces where others are afraid to go. While everyone else is seeking security, they're seeking growth. While others are trying to minimize risk, they're trying to maximize learning. This doesn't mean being reckless. The wealthy are actually quite conservative with the wealth they've already built, but they're aggressive about building new wealth through calculated risks and continuous learning. They protect their downside while maximizing their upside. Right now, in this moment, you have access to more wealth-building knowledge than any generation in human history. You can learn from the greatest investors, entrepreneurs, and business minds who have ever lived. You can access courses, books, podcasts, and mentors that would have been impossible to find just decades ago. The question isn't whether the information exists. The question is whether you'll consume it, apply it, and commit to the transformation it requires. Will you trade your entertainment time for education time? Will you sacrifice immediate gratification for long-term success? Will you choose growth over comfort? Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't about money, it's about freedom. Freedom to choose how you spend your time, freedom to pursue what matters to you, freedom to contribute to causes bigger than yourself. It's about building a life where you're not just surviving, but truly living. The wealthy understand that money is just a tool, mindless all for creating options, for building impact, for leaving a legacy. They don't pursue wealth for its own sake, but for the doors it opens and the problems it allows them to solve. The choice has always been yours. The opportunity has always been there. The knowledge is available. The examples are everywhere. The only question that remains is, will you take it? Your future self is watching this moment, waiting to see what you decide. Will you choose the comfortable path of mediocrity, or will you choose the challenging path of extraordinary? Will you remain a consumer, or will you become a creator? Will you settle for security, or will you reach for significance? The answer you choose today will determine the life you live tomorrow. Choose wisely.